Welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to teach you how to make this really cute granny square bow bag. It's really easy to make as well, so let's get started. For this project, we're going to need two different colors of yarn. You're going to have one for your granny square and then one for the bows that we're going to add on it. So I decided to make my granny squares white and then the bow pink. I was going to do it the other way around, but I don't have enough pink yarn for that. You're also going to need a pair of scissors and a crochet hook. I'm using a 4mm crochet hook. And lastly, tapestry needles to weave in all of your loose ends. For this bag, we need 4 granny squares. And I have a tutorial on how to make these granny squares already, so I'm going to save your time. Instead of me adding how to make them in this video, I'm going to link the video in the description box below. It's very beginner friendly if you've never made one before, so you can click off this video and go to the tutorial on how to make a granny square and then come back and then I will show you how to make the rest of the bag. Okay, so once you've learned how to make a granny square, go ahead and make 4, and each of these granny squares have 6 rounds. You can make them as big as you want, but I want this bag to be kind of small, you know, not too big, so I thought 6 rounds was perfect, and I used a 4mm crochet hook to make each of them. Okay, so once we have our granny squares done, we're going to make a bow. So you're going to make a slip knot. Place the knot onto your crochet hook and then we're going to chain 45. The more you chain, the bigger your bow is going to be, and the less you chain, the smaller your bow is going to be. So you can go ahead and play around with the sizes, but I think I'm going to chain about 40 to 45 because I want the bow to be kind of mini. I decided on chaining 45 and I think this is a good amount. So now what we're going to do is yarn over and we're going to skip the first 2 stitches. So we're not going to crochet in there, we're not going to crochet there, but we're going to crochet in the 3rd stitch here. And then we're just going to insert our crochet hook, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. And that is a half double crochet. So we're going to half double crochet all the way along our chain except in the last stitch, and we're going to miss the first and the last stitch of each round, and I'll explain why as our bow starts coming together. So in every single stitch except for the last one. You can use whatever stitch you want. I do have a tutorial on how to make bows, but I just decided to incorporate it into this video because it doesn't really take that long to make, and you can make it as big as you want. I think the tutorial that I did, there were pretty big bows that you can use for your hair and stuff like that. So I will link that video in the along with the video on how to make a granny square. But if you already know how to do all of that, then this tutorial will be just like assembling the bag. Once you've crocheted in every single stitch except for the last one, we're going to yarn over and turn our work. We're not going to chain anything. And then we're going to half double crochet in the back loops only. So I'm going to skip this stitch and go into the 2nd stitch. So yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3. And we're going to do that all the way along our chain except for in the last stitch. You don't have to half double crochet in the back loops only if you don't want to, but I love how this little ribbed effect looks. I think it's really pretty. You can just half double crochet normally if you want. It's up to you. That's what I love about crochet. Like, you can just do whatever you want basically. You can use whatever stitch you want. Like for these bows, you could use a single crochet, or a treble crochet, or you can even make the bow in slip stitches. It's literally up to you, depends on what vibe you're going for. And I just think half double crochets just look the best along with single crochets. I've never tried it with double crochets or treble crochets. Maybe I should at some point. Once you have gone all the way along your chain, except for in this last stitch, we now have one row left to do. So you're going to yarn over, and then we're going to half double crochet in the back loops only, except for in the last stitch towards the end. Okay, so once you finish the row, you should see that it's going diagonal, so it's going down like this, and this is just how I wanted the end of my bow to look like. And it's also the same on this side, how it's a bit diagonal. So what we're going to do to finish off this bow is just slip stitch all the way along this line so it's nice and neat. So just put your hook in whichever stitch. There's not really a particular way to do this. So I'm just gonna just place it randomly, honestly, and then just make a slip stitch. Again, you don't have to slip stitch if you don't want to, but I just think it makes my bow a lot neater. But I do think it wouldn't look too bad if you don't slip stitch, but it's up to you at the end of the day. This is your bow. And if you're a bit impatient, I would understand why you wouldn't want to slip stitch. Okay, so now we're going to chain one and fasten off, and we're just going to cut the yarn here and then pull this straight through, and this is what it looks like. And then we're just going to do exactly the same on this side. Just attach your yarn and slip stitch across. Once you have slip stitched on both sides, we're just going to now weave in all of our ends. And I hate this process so much. Like, if you saw my last video, I made a granny square sweater where I kept changing colors, and every time I changed the colors I had to weave in the ends, and it was just such a long process. I promise you, it was probably longer than the crocheting itself, because especially when it comes to making clothes, we do not want it to unravel at any point. So it did take me a really long time to get it done, but for this we only have a couple ends, so it shouldn't be too bad. Now that we have weaved in all of the ends, we can now shape our bow. So to shape the bow, what you want to do is cross over one side like this, and then grab the other side and cross it over, and then flip it up towards you. And then this is where you can just adjust it to your liking, so you can decide how long you want these sides to be. As you can see, this is shorter than this side, so let's go back and try and assemble it. This is the hardest part of making bows. We just want everything to be nice and symmetrical, and I think this is fine. It looks even to me. Okay, so once you've got the shape of your bow ready, we're now going to grab some yarn and then wrap it around the middle of our bow as tight as you can. So you want to pull it really, really tight. And this is just where you start adjusting your bow. As you can see, it's not even on both sides. So this process is just trial and error, I promise you. Just see what works and see how much of your crochet thing you need on each side to make it even. So I'm just going to trial and error this, guys. So let's do this together. Because we want the yarn to be in the middle. So I'm going to grab this, leave a little bit of a tail on the other side, and then wrap this as tight as I can. And let's see how it is. Okay, that's not bad. Okay, this looks a lot more symmetrical. Oh yes, it does. Look, that is so cute. Okay, this is very, very symmetrical now. So you just want to grab your yarn and wrap it around really, really tight. And then once you've done that, you're gonna flip your bow over, grab your scissors and just cut off the excess, and then tie a knot. I'm just gonna tie it like this. And you don't want to cut off these two ends because we're going to use this to attach the bow to our granny square. So you want to go ahead and make another one. So I'll come back to you shortly when I have another bow done. This is so cute. Once we have made both of our bows, we're now going to attach them to our granny square. So I'm going to attach mine right here in the middle where we started the first round. You can attach it anywhere, to be honest. You can put it here, you can put it here, 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 or wherever. So I'm gonna put mine in the middle. So what I'm gonna do first is, I told you guys to leave 2 tails at the end, and this just helps attach our bow. So we're going to place it inside a needle. So I'm just going to twist this at the top. This helps me just get the yarn through the needle. Let's pull this through. Okay, so once you've got one side through, we're going to place it on our granny square and then just move it out of the way, and then put our yarn through, and then we're going to pull the needle through the back, and then just let go of the needle, let go of the yarn. I don't know why it's knotted. Okay, there we go. So we have our tail through the other side, and we're going to do exactly the same to this piece of yarn. Like so, and then we're going to move the bow out of the way and then put the needle through, pull the yarn through, and now we have both tails at the back, and this is just in the center of our granny square. So we're going to grab these 2 yarn tails and then make a couple knots. So that's 1 knot. You want to put it really tight because we don't want the bow to come off. So I knotted mine 4 times, and you want to pull it really, really tight, and then you're going to cut these 2 tails, and I'm just going to cut them here, and there we have it. So we have attached our bow to our granny square, and this is looking so pretty. Oh my goodness, it's so cute. Now we're going to attach our 2 granny squares together. So you're going to make a slip knot like so, and we're just going to set that aside. So I'm going to attach mine like this because I want this seam to be visible, and you'll see what I mean in a little bit. So I'm going to start from here and then go all the way along here. And you can slip stitch or single crochet, but I prefer to single crochet. So I'm going to just put my hook into the first stitch of each round, then grab my slip knot and pull it tight, and then just adjust my yarn so I can hold it properly. And then I'm going to pull this loop through and then make a chain 1. And now I'm going to make 1 single crochet inside the corner space, and then from now on I'm just going to make single crochets in all of the stitches. So here's our next stitch, then I'm going to go into the next stitch on the other side, pull it through, yarn over, and pull through 2 loops. And then you just want to repeat this process all the way along, going in each stitch, making a single crochet. You can use the white yarn if you want, but I love how the pink looks because I feel like I have enough white for this bag, so I chose to use the pink one instead. And then yeah, you're just going to keep going all the way along. Once you reach the end, we should be at a corner space, so we're just going to make a single crochet, and then also just make one single crochet in the next stitch. It's kind of hard to find. Okay, here and here. Is that in? Oh, that's not even inside the stitch. Okay, and then we're gonna make our single crochet and then chain one and then fasten off. So I'm just gonna get my scissors and then cut the yarn here, this straight through, and this is our 2 squares attached, and I think it looks really good. And then what we just need to do now is weave in these ends. If you're not adding lining, you don't need to weave in the ends, but I'm just gonna do it just so everything is nice and neat. Once you have finished sewing the first 2 squares together, you want to go ahead and do exactly the same to your other 2 squares, and I decided to leave these 2 squares plain, so the front will have the bows and then the back will just be plain. Okay, next we need to sew all 4 of these squares together, so I'm going to flip my work like this and then put my work on top like this. And then what I'm going to do is single crochet from here all the way down, all the way across, and all the way up. So it's very similar to how we were just single crocheting this. It's just a larger section. So I'm going to start here at the top and put my 2 corner pieces together and then start it exactly the same by making a slip knot like so, and then placing my hook inside the first corner space and then attaching the slip knot, pulling it really tight and then pulling it up and chaining 1. And then I'm just going to make single crochets all the way around my bag. Now that I have finished crocheting all the way around the bag, we're not going to fasten off just yet because we still have the opening to do. So do not single crochet it like this, like how we've been doing all the way around, because you won't be able to open it. So we're just going to open the bag slightly and then crochet all the way around the opening. So don't crochet them together. And then you just want to repeat what we've been doing all the way around the bag to the top of the bag as well. It's nothing new, just continue single crocheting. Okay, so I have finished single crocheting all the way around the opening, and now to add a little bit more detail, I'm going to do 1 round of double crochets. So I'm going to add a double crochet in every single crochet that I made. So we're going to start off by chaining 2, so that's 1, 2, and then we're going to put a double crochet in this stitch, the same stitch where our chain 2 is. Pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and we're just going to do this all the way around. I was thinking of doing ribbing all the way around until I was like, I think double crochets will look fine, but I do want to make another bag and see how it looked with ribbing. I think that would look really good, but let's just try the double crochets first. After double crocheting all the way around your bag, we're now going to make the strap. So again, don't fasten off, and this is how the round should look once you've gone all the way around. So I'm going to just tighten the loop on my hook, and then I'm going to slip stitch into the first stitch like so, and this stitch aligns with the side of our bag, and this is where we want to start making our strap. So I'm going to chain. You can chain as much as you want. I don't think there's really a set number, but just chain enough to make a strap, and we want the chain to go up and over to the other side. Okay, so I finished chaining, and I think this is a good length for my strap. So once you've got the correct length for your strap, we're going to slip stitch on the side of our bag. So I'm going to just go right here in the middle, place my hook, pull up a loop, and then make a slip stitch, and then that just attached my chain to the other side of my bag. And now to start building up the strap. Hold on, everything is getting so tangled right now. Let me just rearrange things. Okay. Let's put the yarn this side instead. Okay, everything is not tangled anymore. So what I'm going to do is chain 1, and then I'm going to do half double crochets. You can do whatever stitch you want for the strap, but I think half double crochets will look fine. So just flip your chain towards you so you can see the stitches properly, and then we're going to place our hook in the first stitch. I think it's a bit hard to see. Okay, so you're going to yarn over, insert our hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. Once you've reached back to the start of your round, so we went all the way around, now we're going to slip stitch into the next stitch, like so, and then continue making our half double crochets all the way around, slip. Okay, so my phone just cut off because I ran out of storage, but I was trying to explain to you guys what to do next. So you just want to keep making your rounds of half double crochets all the way around, and then slip stitching at the end. And then I'm gonna do it about 5 times, I think, because right now this thickness is not too bad, but if I go another 4 times round, I think I should be done. So yeah, it's really repetitive, but if you have any specific questions on how to do this, you can ask me in the comments and I will try and help you. Once you have completed the strap, I decided to add a couple ruffles all the way around the bag, and to do this is really easy. So I've almost finished, so I'm just going to show you guys how I did the ruffles. So in the next stitch, I'm going to do 5 double crochets. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, not 4 yet. Hold on. Let me readjust the yarn. Okay, 4. And then 1 more to make it 5. And that is 5. So now in the next stitch, so here we have our 5 double crochets, but then in the next stitch we're just going to do a slip stitch. And we're going to just pull that straight through. So this is what the pattern looks like. So you do 5 double crochets in 1 stitch, and then the next stitch you do a slip stitch, 5 double crochets in 1 stitch, slip stitch in the next, 5 double crochets, and then we just completed our slip stitch, and now we need to do 5 double crochets. And you just want to repeat this pattern all the way around. It's actually really simple. So yeah, and then once you've done that, you can just chain 1 and fasten off, and then the bag will be complete. I think that it turned out really nice, especially if you're that type of person that loves pink and white and you like bows in general. But I think this year I need to start making more projects that I'd actually wear myself, because this is not my style, but it did come out really good. And I 100% recommend that you put lining inside this bag, because it's really flimsy and you don't want the bag to stretch and you don't want your things to fall out. Alright guys, that is the end of today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and as always, I will see you in the next one.